Hello, Patriots. This is HUSTUSA. It's been a while since I've shot a video on my laptop, but today's the day. It's the 10th of April, and I had an event scheduled for the 11th through the 16th of April in Washington, D.C. It was intended to gather the masses and hopefully get millions there and enough people to shut down the city of Washington, D.C. You probably all know that, we can't do this alone. Nobody's got the power of our current president who makes up the rules as he goes along. But we need to band together, because united we stand and divided we fall. There's all these little issues that, like abortion or the border or taxes, or there's just an infinite number of issues that divide us. Like the 9/11 World Trade Center. Some people think that was an inside job, and if you don't think that was an inside job, you think the person's nuts. That divides us. So there's a million ways to be divided, and there's one way to be united. And I figured it out over the months that I've been homeless on the street in Oceanside, California. I figured out that we need to start agreeing with all these issues. If somebody thinks that 9/11 was an inside job, just agree with them. It doesn't matter. It's in the past. The thing that has come clear to me, I have had a huge spiritual enlightenment, I guess you could say, since being on the street, since September of 2014. I've decided that this really comes down to a battle between good and evil. It's really that simple. All these little sub-issues, they're good and evil. A lot of them are lies. So it's issues about good and evil that divide us. But there is one bigger issue, and that's good and evil in general. Right now we have evil in control of our government. Almost every single body of our government is controlled by evil, corrupt individuals that seem to have a one-track mind. They seem to want to destroy the United States. And there's a good reason for that, because Satan wants a one-world order, society, communism, oppression of individual thought, freedom, liberty. So all these people who are taking the money and running, they figure, hey, I'm only going to be alive so long, I'll just get rich off of these things, and who cares if I burn in hell? Well, I care, because I want them to realize how badly they're destroying this country. The illegal immigration issue is huge. I'm in California. I'm 60 miles from the border. They say there's 12, 11, and the number's going down like they're counting heads. They say there's 12 million illegals in the country right now. I think there's that many in California alone. So we're being lied to by our government, and nobody's held accountable. Nobody has any sort of consequences for their behavior. It's time that it all changed. Right now, I mean, school boards are making a mess out of things, removing the American flag after they've removed prayer, the Ten Commandments, you know, sanity. I've had it, and I apologize for not having my hat on today. I wanted you all to see that I'm letting the hair grow, letting the beard grow. I still want to lead the country to Washington, D.C. It just didn't happen this go round. I'll fill you in a little bit. GoDaddy back in December, I think it was, switched their software that creates blog pages, who I've been with creating a blog page with their software since '09. They switched from their quick broadcast software to WordPress, and when they did that switch over, I was required to change the address where things get posted. I was required. No one told me that. They all said that the computers would handle it automatically, probably occur overnight. Well, days went by and I didn't see anything happen, so I called back in and I kept getting the same old line of crap that the computers would handle it, they've been swamped, just give it another week. Well, I kept calling in, probably called in about 10 times. Same issue, got the same stupid answer. And then finally one day I called in, and some guy with a brain said, no, you have to physically change those numbers yourself. So I did, and boom, everything's working fine. Well, this was 25 days that my site was down, and robots go around every night and they check for dead links, and if they find one, they get rid of it. Well, I had been posting links for 5 years, 6 years, and you know, thousands of links out there that were getting wiped out by these robots. Well, I have you know that my blog, Help Us Save the USA site, they commended me because I had 1,000 viewers a day. I'd gotten up to 1,000 viewers a day, and they tell me that's a very high number for a political page. Well, I'm happy about that, but now my numbers are down about 20 a day. So, you know, they wiped out my viewers there. Also at Facebook. Facebook, for using the word nigger, I used it in an image of Barack Obama. I called him, instead of the commander-in-chief, I called him the nigger in charge. And they felt it necessary to block me for 30 days, right ahead of the event that's scheduled for starting tomorrow. So the 30 days that I was going to really slam marketing of this event, I was not on Facebook. And on Facebook at HUSTUSA, on Facebook, I had 2,000 viewers a day. So there's 3,000 viewers a day, you know, that basically got wiped away. Well, the HUSTUSA at Facebook, that's easy enough to get back, but all those links that brought people to my blog page, I haven't even bothered with the blog page since losing all my viewers there. So I just want you to know, I'm not going to run too long on this. I just want you to know that our freedoms are being totally eliminated, and I've been talking to hundreds of people over the last few months. Many of us feel that it's too late, that we can't save the USA. That's wrong, because we are the silent majority. There's many of us, Christians, veterans, homeless. You know, we've all seen this slowly come down, and it's time to change it all, because we have to unite. So I'm going to reschedule this event. Most definitely it will occur next April 2016, just ahead of the elections, and I'm probably going to try to do something for July of this year, or maybe later on in the year. I don't know. This has all been pretty tough, and living on the street doesn't help. I don't have internet access all the time, so it's just gotten real complicated for me to be able to do the 16 hours of computer time like I used to do, 16 hours a day, which gave me chronic dry eye, which I'm okay with. I just wake up and my eyelids are stuck to my eyeballs in the morning. So that's what chronic dry eye is, in case you're wondering what it is you've got. That's how it works, and pus comes out if you strain them too much during the day. So I also want to tell you, you know, I've got a website up, and I can accept donations, and I asked for people to help. I would have gone on the road myself easily, no problem. I would have gone to DC myself if I'd had some money. But the construction industry now has been taken over by illegals. My phone, you know, still doesn't ring. I don't have the yellow pages anymore, but I still have my website for my construction company, and I used to get a third of my calls through that, so I'm getting no calls. And if you go on any job site and look who's doing the work, it's all illegals. So without any money, I wasn't about to hit the road, and I just want to say that nobody sent a donation to me, not one, not even $20. So I've been hearing that many of the other bigger organizations are having trouble with funding these days as well. So it's a grim situation, folks. We've all been cleaned out. We don't know who to donate to anymore. We have to unite. We have to make it one big major effort, so we know who to give to, who to help out, where to be, when. That's what we got to do. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do something in July, like for the 4th of July, or if I'm going to just wait until next April, which is appropriate because I want to shut down the IRS. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I'm going to keep plunking away at this. I'm going to stay on the street. I'm helping people out here. You know, they see that I have a useful day every day, and it inspires them. Also, I have a vehicle, so I can, you know, run them around if need be. Met many good people out here. Many churches have come to assist, and the city has been pretty good to me. They did run me out of one spot I was in because probably a liberal neighbor got sick of seeing me. So they came and nicely presented me with a turd that said, "You got to leave." So I gave them credit for handling it well. They didn't really want to do it, but you know, that person was calling 3 times a day, being a real nuisance, calling me a nuisance because I'm simply in their view. So there's a lot wrong in this country, folks. This homeless situation, that's a big dilemma that's only gotten worse. And the drug situation, the illegal situation, the joblessness. You know, we're losing jobs, paying cheap labor now. People aren't surviving on lower wages. You wonder how to increase the minimum wage, get rid of some of these effing illegals, okay? That'll do it. I see them walking around town all the time, and you know, they're big, fat, and lazy. Some of them are great workers, but basically they're fat and lazy and have babies. So we're paying for it. You know, I know a lot of these homeless folks, they couldn't survive unless they had a EBT card. You know, and some of them get what's called GS or something like that, general assistance from the government. You know, another fancy term for welfare. Well, you know, we're basically paying the homeless to stay homeless. You know, they get about $600 a month. You know, just stay homeless. Here's a little bit of money to stay homeless. And the illegals, same deal. They get all kinds of funding. They know how to work the system. It's all got to change. And I just here today, I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want this to be hugely long. But I'm here today to apologize for trying to make an event happen in Washington, D.C. I was there in 2009 at the September 12th event put on by the Tea Party. The media claimed that we only had 80,000 people there, when in fact we had 1.8 million people there. And so that annoys me to no end. And what we have to do is we have to create such an event in the future that there's so many people on the streets that the town has to shut down. And rather than just make it a one-day event, we stay there. We stay there. Let the media cover it. Let the town stay shut down. You know, they do all these budget shutdowns, and then what do? They surround the Veterans Memorial so that vets that are near death, who make their final journey there, can't even get in. Now, if that isn't stupid, out of control government, what is? Okay? The Constitution is a finely written piece of government document type thing, written a long time ago by some very serious, bright individuals. And, you know, we've gotten away from it. We've gotten away from the rule of law. I'll just tell you this. In order to fix this, there's been treason going on over the last 6 years during Obama's administration. Obama is guilty of treason. Eric Holder's guilty of treason. Hillary Clinton's guilty of treason. Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi. The list goes on. There's probably about 20 that I could name who need to hang for treason. This lawlessness that we see on the news that starts at the top trickles down to every individual in this country. It needs to end. Punishment needs to be performed on these people who claim to be in charge of things. They're not. They're a bunch of worthless individuals. making up the rules as they go along, hiding things, breaking the law. Hillary Clinton destroying her emails. I mean, will that ever get resolved? Or will it go round and round and round forever? Well, not if we have anything to do about it, folks. We can't leave it up to the politicians anymore. They all got greasy palms. You can't catch anything when you got greasy palms. So I suggest that you all Google HUSTUSA, that's spelled HUSTUSA, that you visit my website at HUSTUSA.com or helpussavetheusa.com. I don't care how you get a hold of me, but we need to gather, folks. This need not be violent. I don't want any of you gun-toting people claiming that, blood must be shed. It doesn't need to happen. And all that's going to do is just cause confusion and rioting and chaos. We need to do this smart. And the way to do it is to gather and point the finger at the corrupt individuals who is responsible for all this happening. We need to do it soon. So please help us save the USA. I tell people that every time I talk to them. I say, Google me, Google HUSTUSA. People are lazy, just downright friggin' lazy. Okay? And they're too concerned with their own crap in their own life. And that's got to change too. This is like a sick, dog or something we all have to tend to. Our government's sick, all the way down to our school boards. And they're teaching a new generation of sick, they're carrying the disease on down to your children. So I suggest you do something about it, or else it will be too late. We're far from it being too late. These liberal-minded, but assholes, they're in charge now. These are the same people who, instead of taking a job straight out of high school, they decided to go to college. And what did they learn in college? They learned socialism in college. If you look at Irvine University taking the flags down, the American flag's no longer there. Well, all of these things are spurred or spawned by radicals. There's Muslims in our colleges today. Look for Arafat's scarf on some of these people. Anytime there's any sort of rioting going on, look for Arafat's scarf. Those are the people stirring up the problem, causing people to want to riot. So we got to do something. And I've just proven that I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. But as a big group, say 5 million or 10 million or 15 million on the city streets of Washington, D.C., I think that'll have an impact. And I've always wanted to ride some people out on a rail because they need to be publicly humiliated. We need to point out who the criminals are. We need to change all these stupid, overwritten laws that are cumbersome and basically crap. We need to eliminate all this stuff and get back to basics. Laws shouldn't be huge. Taxes shouldn't be huge. We're all slaves. We're all slaves to our government. They've made this big issue out of slavery. The government has made slaves out of all of us. And they had this issue back in the 60s about integration and segregation. There's a town near me called San Marcos, California. If the government's in charge of integration, well, then what happened in that town? I'll tell you what happened. All the illegals congregated in that town, basically running all the whites out of that town. So now you can go to any public school there, and you'll find very few whites, and it'll be all Hispanic. And these are anchor babies. It's a shame. I'm watching it happen. I moved to California to kind of experience the American dream here in a nice climate. Well, this has turned into the American nightmare because our officials don't know crap. Leaving the border open. I mean, you see them basically walking in here all day long. So, I'm not going to go any longer. I want to wrap this up before it gets to be a half hour long. Listen, this is a serious issue. I'm not wearing my funny hat because I'm not being funny today. This is like our last chance ahead of this 2016 election. And we need to have some people hung for treason prior to that, hopefully this year. But you know how courts run these days. They take forever. And these attorneys talk about the stupidest things. Well, a lot of these cases are clear-cut. Treason is pretty easy to prove. We've seen it. And there's no defense for it. So, we got a few things we got to do. We got to unite. I'm not sure exactly the way to do it. I'll tell you this. I have this thing called the Equally Tripartisan Congress idea, and it's a new form of voting. The voting is probably going to be screwed up again this presidential election. It's going to be a nail biter right down to midnight, you know. They're going to call it close again. Well, if they call it close, then we don't worry so much about voter fraud. But there's voter fraud going on. You know, there's 138 different ways to vote in this country. 138. There should be one. And I'm suggesting that we select our candidates on the computer, on the internet. Take the money out of it. Let them all battle together on the same site. Let them prove themselves in writing so that you can go on there 24 hours a day and see who you're talking about. Compare. Right side by side. And let it whittle down to where there's finally 9 people on the ballot. And you're voting for 3 of them. Not the way it is now. The way it is now is stupid. Check it out, Equally Tripartisan Congress. Check that out. Also, I want to have a flat tax soon, immediately. I got interested in politics because of Jack Kemp. You know, back in the late 70s, Jack Kemp was the first guy I can recall ever suggesting a flat tax. Well, we need a flat tax, folks, because the government takes most of your money. I want you to take your entire paycheck home and only pay taxes on consumption. And I want food and housing to be eliminated from the tax process. That way, poor people, if they can only afford food and housing, they're not taxed. That's how we compensate the poor. Rich people that buy a $10 million yacht pay $1 million in taxes. You hire somebody to do $1 million worth of work, you pay 10% in taxes. That's consumption of their labor. That's how the whole thing should work. Not the way it is now, because we feel like a slave. I want to end that. You can help me. Please Google HUSTUSA. Go to helpussavetheusa.com. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you care. I've never been married, don't have any kids. I've got 2 dead friends that were involved in doing what I'm doing. Andrew Breitbart, David Alexander. They were both murdered by our government because they were trying to be a thorn in the side of the government. Well, I'm going to be a thorn in the side. Are you going to help me? So far, I haven't seen it. You know, it takes money to do this, and I ain't asking for money for my own deal. I want money so that I can make this happen. So if you're going to help me, you better start showing it. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to give up, because I can't continue to blog every hour I can of the day and, you know, not be concentrating on feeding myself, housing myself. So please help us save the USA, folks. Hope you enjoyed the scenery over my shoulder. It's darn nice here in California, but man, I'll tell you what, politics here is stupid. Politics everywhere is getting stupid. All these big metropolises, they're the cause. They're housing the illegals, they're giving them work, they're running us out. It's got to end. Please help, folks, please. You know, I got the glasses on because I always shoot video of me with my sunglasses on. You know it's me, I hope. The beard's way longer, hair is long, there's no hat, but look, here's my shirt. Alright. And by the way, that fire in May that was targeted to kill me is what made my beard white. My beard was mostly brown, and I could color it, fill in the blank spots, and it was mostly brown just a year ago. But that fire did this to me, and being on the street has given me a new enlightenment on spirituality. I've had some incredible things happen. I've had God prove to me that He exists. I've always been a skeptic, and many of you are, but I'll just tell you this, folks. I'm a construction guy, and now I'm a spiritual guy. God has shown me that He really does exist. I have been reading the Bible about an hour and a half a day. I mean, you cannot disprove what is in the Bible and what I see. He sends amazing things to me that couldn't happen on their own. They're so amazing. Someday I'll get into what I've seen, but just take my word for it, please. God exists. Jesus Christ was on this earth, and He died so that we can all be with God in the end. And these drugs, alcohol, these things that you do to your body, they are Satan. Satan runs this planet, and it's our job to make him worthless. And these people that are on this methamphetamines, they are pretty hopeless. That is one powerful satanic drug. It lures them in every single time. As soon as they get some money, that's what they spend it on. And I'm fortunate to have never had any sort of alcohol or drug dependence, and I'm even more fortunate to be out here with these people, to be accepted by them, to be able to help them on a daily basis. Yeah, that might be my calling in the future, I'm not sure. But I'll tell you this, folks, we all got to get together and fix these problems. We're too caught up in our own lives to worry about these other issues. Well, these other issues are getting pretty big, and it's time we brought them to a stop. And our leaders are not going to do it. My tagline on my Help Us Save the USA website says, "Can a bumper sticker save the USA?" We're convinced our leaders can, and they can't. they're just simply in it to lie to us. We need to prosecute the liars. We need to eliminate the liars. This government needs to be run according to the rules of God and the rules of our Constitution that both have made this country the greatest country in the world. And our greatness is quickly being dissolved by the evil that has risen to the top. So if that message isn't plain enough for you folks, then I guess you're out of it. I guess you're one of the zombies. But I know many of you get it and love God. So if you could, pray for the USA, please. Pray that we all come together. Pray that we fix this. And stop being so complacent. If you're tired of seeing a guy's pants hanging down past his ass, tell him. You know, you've got freedom of speech. Use it. All right? There's a lot I could talk about, but here I am past 30 minutes, so please help. Please pray. Please find your inner Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will, His power is infinite. And it seems like so many people have turned toward evil that it's kind of an even battle now. Well, it's not. It just seems that way because the evil's in power. Let's get them out of power. Let's bring the Holy Spirit into each home, back into your own life. And let's fight this evil that is ruining our country, ruining the world. They want to dominate the world. They want to dominate all the governments of the world. You want to live under Sharia law? I know you don't. So, what are you going to do? You better do something. Instead of worrying about the latest television or application for your cell phone, you better do something else. You better look around. You better see how far gone we are, how high food prices are, how high gas is, how hopeless things seem. The only way it's going to change is if you get involved. So you don't work for a month. You help me out. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. So if I can count on you, we'll get somewhere. I'm ready to lead. I want to be governor of the state of California someday. I want to fix California so that as goes California, so goes the rest of the country. Well, I'm not that clever, but I can fix. Nobody wants to vote here anymore because they feel that their vote doesn't mean diddly. Well, my equally tripartition Congress idea, that'll set that thing straight. And we'll get back to being conscious of what is happening around us. That's what we really need. So, thanks for listening. Sorry I took so long. Sorry I didn't have my event in D.C. the 11th through the 16th like I was hoping. But I think the thing that saddens me the most is that even with a name like Help Us Save the USA, 0 people step forward to help me. 0. And I'm serious. If you look at my history and my 6-year history of blogging, you'll know I'm serious. This is all I do. That's why that hat is on my head. That's all that's on my mind. This whole thing's an abomination. We're just sitting around letting it happen to us. That's wrong. So please pray to God, folks, that sanity will rule soon, that the evil will be punished soon. We're Barack Obama is a fraud. So are many of these others. We have to set that record straight. He can't go down in history as not being punished, or that'll be the end of us. So please, folks, Google HUSTUSA, visit helpussavetheusa.com, talk to your friends, pray to God, do whatever you can, but do something for your country. You know, remember the words of John F. Kennedy? Probably some of you don't. He said to ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Well, many of us aren't doing much for our country. Many of us. We're just accepting the crap that's being dumped on our heads. That's not the way it's supposed to work, folks. Think about all the people who have given their lives for your freedoms and liberties. Now, I'm not saying that war is good. I will say that the wars, the way they've been conducted during my lifetime, except for World War I, World War II, that's when real men fought, real issues. But the Vietnam War, that was run by politicians, and it was a screwy bunch of crap. And Iraq, same deal, screwy bunch of crap. You don't go into a war with green zones. You don't fight a war from 9 to 5. Okay? We're worried about Iraq having nukes soon. There's a solution to that. And it's not through the UN. It's not through the people having nuke talks. You know, all that's happening there is palms are getting greased. So, please pray that God will heal us. That means we have to humble ourselves, folks. We have to realize that sin exists in our country today. It's running rampant. It's on the news all the time. Is that what you want? Is that what you want your kids to grow up seeing? I suggest you do something about it damn fast. All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. Good to talk to you on video again. Let's make it happen, folks. If it's in July, 4th of July, I don't know when it's going to be. I know I'm going to seriously be planning for the whole next year to make something happen. Probably the 11th through the 16th next year, 2016, just like I was planning for this year. And one other thing, let's destroy Facebook. It's a fascist organization. I'm not saying let's eliminate it. I'm saying let's destroy the people at the top. You know, they're being fascists. They're controlling for their own outcome. If we got to destroy it, let's do it. But let's get our freedoms back, folks. We got freedom of speech and many others that are written in the Constitution. They're all slowly evaporating. So pray that they don't before you're gone. Help me. Help us save the USA. Thanks.